Yeah, okay, it is recording.
Yeah, we are recording.
Okay, hello YouTube. We're here for a One Piece Film Z discussion.
I am CaptainBlu.
And I am the MasqdTroll, totally not referencing a certain sucky Naruto character.
Okay. So, MasqdTroll, what we're going to talk about today?
Okay, so as I said, Film Z, it came out a few months ago. Okay, like half a year ago. You know what, by this point, most people have kind of seen it, so really there's no big spoilers in here. Like, there shouldn't be spoilers. Like, you should have seen it. If you think there's going to be spoilers, go out there and watch the movie. I'll link it in the description or something.
Procrastination for the win.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so first we're going to start with a summary of the movie. So let's start. Okay, so I'll talk about a bit of the introduction here. So first we have Zephyr, who is I believe going for the Dynastones, and his Nakama Ainz and Bins are there, of course, aiding him. And then all of a sudden Kizaru appears, and he's like, yeah, he's a troll, right? So he's a lazy man kind of guy, but when it comes to like, oh crap, the Dynastones, my ass is done if I don't save this. So
alright, so let's talk a bit more about this opening, like 3 minutes sequence.
Yeah.
That was a really nice sequence. It's just like a fight. It's Zephyr and the Neo Marines launching a raid on a Marine base. I'm assuming it's in the New World because it's heavily guarded. It looks like there's a freaking war going on.
And this is the good part, is that this is the first time we're seeing Kizaru after time skip. So it was nice for Film Z to get that in the video. In fact, later we'll talk about like how we see all these new characters, how they've changed over the time skip. I mean, some have actually changed quite drastically aesthetically, and we'll talk about that more.
Okay, but Kizaru, he hasn't changed when he's still like freaking troll. He always looks like he's high. Like the first thing like he does when he sees Zephyr is and he just kicks him. He tries to kick him.
Yep. And and the fight really showed like how the power levels were between the two people. Like, it shows that they were pretty much even, except for the fact of like the limitation being Zephyr's age, where he had to like had some inhaler because of his health.
Yeah, it's just stamina. Like he's got something wrong with his lungs. It might be asthma or something, and that slowed him down. And also, he had like his right arm chopped off, so he had to get a prosthetic for that, the Battle Smasher. And it's a freaking big weapon, and it slows him down a lot. But we see, like, he's still fast enough to catch Kizaru.
Yep. And that's because of his hockey also, because he can, it's quite interesting.
The thing is, like, how many people can catch Kizaru?
Exactly.
Like, very few. They're all at, like, Admiral level or Whitebeard Division Commander, like Marco.
Yeah.
Like, those are the top tier fighters of One Piece. Like, even in old age, even with, like, an injury, Zephyr's still at that level.
Yeah. And, I have a question for you guys also that I just thought of. If Ainz, it's Ainz, right? Who has the model?
Yeah,
Ainz. Yeah, if Ainz has the power to reduce one's age, why don't you think Ainz used it on Zephyr? So I want you to just comment and think, like, why wouldn't they do that? I mean, like, did Zephyr stop Ainz, or does Ainz know something better, or I don't know what's going on?
Or
there.
like, does it have like a negative effect on target or something? Like, who knows? Like,
there might be
they didn't really explain much about Ainz and Bins.
Yeah.
So like, you guys can discuss in the comments, have a war.
Also, like, let's be honest here. If Zephyr was put in his prime, he would have won against. He would have at least have done a great amount of damage against Kizaru.
We were basically told like he was a Garp's level in his youth, or like at least close to it.
So can
none
you
of the
imagine them,
current
like,
admirals,
high-fiving?
like Kizaru, can even like come close to that level. So just how strong was he?
Exactly. So then, moving onto the fight, because there's a lot of other stuff to complain about. Anyways, so yeah, after the fight, what happened after the fight?
We see the Straw Hats just fooling around, just being themselves. We got like a few minutes of that.
Right.
And then Zephyr comes like crashing down like around their ship. They rescue him, and Chopper treats him. And then when Zed wakes up, he's like, "Dr. Chopper," and Chopper's like, You can't call me that. That doesn't make me feel good, asshole.
Yeah. And this is one of the more interesting parts of the film where I saw that Zephyr and Luffy were like actually like considering each other like friends and such. Of course, before now that like Luffy like revealed to Zephyr like I want to be the Pirate King. I want to be
He's
the
like,
Pirate
King?
Yeah, and that just like pissed off Zephyr so badly that
He started trying to destroy the Sunny.
basically, yeah, and that was a great deal for Luffy, and really it shows how much hatred that Zephyr has towards pirates. It's not like hating the player, it's hating the whole game.
Yeah. Okay, like he's complaining about everyone that's a pirate, no matter if they're justified to be pirates or not. Like
Yeah.
Luffy, you can safely say that he's fairly justified in choosing a pirate as a career path. Then there's like assholes like Captain Kidd or Foxy, and you know like they're just violent, cruel, like weird psychopaths.
Oh yeah, and totally went on my mind, but let's not forget about Kuzan now. Kuzan is like, oh my god, I don't know. Okay, Kuzan is, I would say he's the most controversial role in film because he indirectly helps both parties.
Yeah.
So it's really fuzzy when it gets to Kuzan and see what side is he in, what does he want, what is his goals. So like, what do you think on that?
Okay, you know, like later on in the movie, after like Straw Hats fight Zephyr another time, you know, they fail to stop him from setting off the Dynastones on this like volcano. You know, Zephyr destroys the third volcano, it's going to destroy the new world, right? Luffy doesn't care about that shit, he just wants his hat back. Zephyr steals the hat from Luffy in their first fight on the sun, okay? And that's why Luffy's going after Zed, nothing else.
Yep.
And then we meet Kuzan in the bathhouse, okay? Like Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Brook are there, and you're just chilling. Okay, and then Kuzan is randomly just stands up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you guys." Okay, so
Yeah.
first of all, he says, "I'm not a Marine Admiral anymore. I'm not coming after you guys. I have no reason to." And Luffy is just like, he's a bit stressed, but he's like, "Okay," and he just lets it go. So you know, like Kuzan, he was a friend of Garp. He's sort of friendly to Luffy, kind of like Smoker, but not really.
Yeah.
So like again, like he doesn't hate pirates, but he also doesn't like them. And then there's a bit where he actually tells him about Zephyr, like a bit of his backstory. They also tell him about some of his weaknesses. And the thing is, like Kuzan was Zephyr's student, you know, like, and he really respected Zephyr. So yeah, that's a really complicated situation there. Like, does he fight his master, or does he help his master? Does he help the kids, you know, like his idol's grandchild and his crew, or does he go against them? He can't do like a lot either way.
Yeah, and
Like, he protects both of
he
them.
feels, I believe he feels like struggled at some points because, or choked even, because like there's nothing he can do, and this compares to Marineford where Garp was choked and he had like moral obligation or duty.
Yeah, and then we actually see this directly when the Straw Hats are questioning Kuzan, like at the bathhouse. It's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "What am I? Wow, what am I?" You know, like he's confused. What is it? Is he a Marine Admiral? Is he a bounty hunter? Is he a pirate? Like, who knows?
Exactly.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's not a revolutionary yet.
Yeah. I don't think those are one of the more far-fetched theories, but it's actually quite possible. I mean, Kuzan being a part of the revolutionaries.
That's a topic for another video.
Yeah, and think about it. What would Garp think of that? Like, would Garp be happy or sad? Like, would he be angry at Kuzan for him joining the revolutionaries?
Well, the thing is, like Garp, like he tried to leave the Marines, right? But they kept him on as a special instructor.
Yeah.
So like Garp wouldn't really give a shit, in my opinion.
Well, the thing is, Garp and Kuzan, I don't know what like how deep their connection is, but there definitely is one. And I mean, Kuzan, like he looked up towards Garp, we could say, and there is that thing. So
okay, speaking of looking up to Kuzan, also looked up to Zephyr, right? You know, there's this bit where there's the theme song going like, "Ooh, do you want me? Hey, ooh," and then like then you get to see like as Kuzan singing it, and he has a meeting with Zephyr, and he gives him like a bottle of sake, and he's like, Sensei, I remember a long time ago, this is the only sake you used to drink.
Yeah.
And Zephyr's like, yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
Okay, product placement. And then Kuzan's like, I used to drink it all the time because I wanted to be cool just like you.
Yeah, so there's that also. Now, let's move on because we also have a lot to talk about. So now, basically, you know, standard stuff. We have Zoro being an absolute badass. We have Sanji being an absolute badass. We have basically all the Straw Hat crews being badasses. And Luffy, of course, is going through that extreme situation. But personally, like for me, I would like to see, like in films, it was kind of like standard. Like, okay, they're OP. The Straw Hats are OP. Like they're gonna just kick everyone's ass. But you know, this is a new world, so I wanted them to their like battle to be a bit more long, or at least a bit more hard.
Like Luffy's the only one that got a decent fight in the whole.
For Zoro, he wasn't like even trying, except for the last move.
Yeah. Like, okay, that was a badass move, but then you could just done that in the first place, you know?
Exactly. Like he could have easily gotten Ayn in like one shot.
Yeah, so like Ayn, like she was kind of hyped up, you know, like she was taking out like a bunch of Straw Hats at once, and like she's Zephyr's special student, like along with Biz. Like, shouldn't they be, you know, like on Vice Admiral level at least?
Exactly.
And like from Punk Hazard, we know like Zoro and Sanji are like maybe Vice Admiral level.
Exactly.
Maybe just above, because Virgo might be strong, we don't know.
And Bins, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, they certainly did do a lot of fights there, but I think it could have been a bit longer.
Me too, we got a little interruption here.
We'll cut this out.
No, we're not cutting this out.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
One Piece.
Oh man, I haven't watched that in so long.
You should. It's one of the best.
Yo, give me an update. What's the latest thing?
We're sort of talking about that right now, so.
Okay, keep going, I'm listening.
Are you sure you want spoilers?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Okay, so we're just sort of in the middle, we'll try to finish up then.
You get the door.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
The sandwich is good.
Is it as good as Niku?
Okay, you know what really got me in that, like sort of leading up to the last fight? Like, Luffy was beating up Neo Marines with a giant piece of meat. And he's like, I just had the image of like him trying to bite it. I was like, it's a bit tough. And he just started whacking like Neo Marines with it. Like, make tenderizer, bitch!
Yep. So, yeah, that's my views.
Yeah. You have to go? Okay, I'll try to carry on then.
Yeah.
Okay, so CaptainBlu has to sort of go. You know what?
Yeah.
We'll just do a part 2 of this discussion.
Yeah, we'll
like at a
have part
later
2.
date.
Yeah.
I'll be expecting it in a couple days, guys.
Okay.
Alright. So could someone just please leave a comment telling us where we left off? I'll probably forget.
Same. Thanks.
Alright, bye YouTube. Stay fresh.